Did you know that 64% of women in the workplace have experienced microaggressions? These microaggressions have ranged from their being mistaken for someone more junior, or perhaps they had their competence questioned. It is also not uncommon for men and women to be described differently in performance reviews. In fact, in a study of performance reviews, researchers found that 66% of women received negative feedback on their communication styles, such as, "You can sometimes be too abrasive." And the percentage of men who received the same type of feedback? 1%. It is time to shed some light on gender bias in the workplace. Hi, I'm Louisa Drescher, President and CEO of Mastering Cultural Differences and a global and domestic diversity expert. I partner with HR executives and other leaders to help them address the challenges of increasingly diverse workplaces. And in this video, I will help you understand bias, how it is acquired, and how it impacts the workplace. First, let's talk about bias. A bias is an assumption or an opinion about an individual simply based on that person's membership in a particular group. Most of these judgments or beliefs are done unconsciously. In other words, we are unaware we are making these judgments, hence the name unconscious bias. And this is a challenge because how can we address something that we are not even aware it's happening? The problem with biases is that they prevent us from being fair, from being equitable. For example, a hiring manager may bypass an Asian American for a leadership position because of his association of Asians with technical skills rather than leadership skills. Can we get rid of the implicit associations we often make? Psychologists say no. In fact, this is part of the way our brain functions. And this is why it is so important that we become aware of our biases, because biases have real-life consequences. Now I want to briefly address how biases are acquired. I hate to say this, but one way we acquire them is from our parents, which makes it much harder to unlearn them. Another source could be a negative experience. In fact, one negative experience with a member of a certain group may be enough to implant a bias into our subconscious. For example, if I were married to a Mexican American and it ended in a bitter divorce, I may steer away from partnering with Mexican American teammates. In other words, I allow my negative experience with one person to color my perception of an entire group of people. Lastly, you need to recognize that biases have real-life consequences. For example, overweight individuals have been found to receive lower performance evaluations. People are treated differently depending on what they are wearing. And criminal defendants with more Afrocentric features receive, in certain contexts, more severe criminal punishment. When interviewing nurses, researchers found that 31% of them would prefer not to care for obese patients. These are just a few examples of the hundreds of ways we make decisions every day in favor of one group and to the detriment of another, without even realizing we are doing it. In this short video, I provided a brief understanding of bias, a few ways we acquire them, and I showed you how they have real-life consequences. Tune in to the next video, where I'll be discussing 3 different types of biases. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the Mastering Cultural Differences channel. And after you have subscribed, hit the bell icon and switch from occasional to all. This way, you will be notified every time I upload a new video. And remember, differences are never a problem once you master them. Bye for now.